You are an emotive human being. You have an amazing ability to experience an incredible range of emotion and to navigate an incredible range of emotion. You were built to navigate these emotions. And yes, it might be more comfortable for us to stay in port and not experience any weather, but realistically, you were built for this. So I want you to understand that you're really just going to tap into capabilities that you already have. Sometimes our barrier is we have these capabilities which we execute beautifully in some contexts, and yet when we're in professional situations, somehow it becomes more difficult for us to access these very human capabilities. So this section is all about uncovering things that you probably do very beautifully in many situations and bringing them to the actual context in a professional setting. There are often areas or situations that repeat, and yet they still manage to throw us off our game. And it's important to know our triggers. It's important to know that we all have triggers. And once you start to identify your triggers, you can actually sort of see it coming. You can build the awareness for you to realize, oops, I think they just hit one of my buttons and I need to find a way to navigate this. And that's a bit of the first step to navigating challenging conversations. So here's one of the things that is so important, and that is we want to stop reacting to the trigger and we want to start responding to the need. So the good news about our brains is that they can't multitask, right? They switch between activities. We know that from some of the other programs. And so if your brain is singularly focused on the trigger, you will naturally begin reacting to it. But if you're able to see the outcome you want to drive and you focus on the outcome you want to drive, you will naturally respond to the need versus reacting to the trigger. So the best story I have for this, I heard from Sundar Pichai, the CEO of Google. And he told this story about how he was in a restaurant in India. And he was, having his meal, and it was a really beautiful restaurant. And all of a sudden, there was this commotion at another table. And this woman began screaming and flailing her arms, and there was some kind of commotion, and he didn't really know what was going on. And then all of a sudden, it became apparent that she had a cockroach on her blouse. And so she was, of course, flailing her arms and completely stressed out that there was this cockroach on her blouse. And in the kerfuffle, the cockroach leaped to the man sitting next to her. And, he began sort of batting his outfit and getting all agitated, associated with, where this cockroach was. And he too was in a state of severe reactivity. And so the waiter, of course, rushed over, and the waiter was trying to figure out what was the situation. And in the scuffle, the cockroach jumped on the waiter's tray. And the waiter just simply stood completely still, stared at the cockroach, kind of observed its movement, and then extremely quickly grabbed the cockroach and threw it out the window. And it resolved the situation. And Sundar sat there and thought to himself, was it the cockroach that created the disturbance? Or was it the reaction to the cockroach that created the disturbance? Because if it was the cockroach, then how come the waiter wasn't disturbed? And so sometimes our reaction to the disturbance is greater than the actual disturbance. And if you see, the waiter in this case was focused exclusively on the need, getting the cockroach out of the restaurant, which made him stay poised and respond to the situation. Whereas both of the guests were extremely reactive and really could not impact the situation. So that is what really we're going for. We're going for understanding that it's normal to have triggers, but we do not want to react to the trigger. We want to see the need and respond to the need.